Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is another edition of New York by Night. Mr. Peck just reluctantly had to accept the title of primogen of the very weakened, beaten, and bruised clan Toreador, wanting to make sure that he does things by the book as much as he can. He immediately tries to arrange a meeting with the seneschal, as he'll probably be less busy than the prince. Also, because his status is still neonate, he doesn't want to offend the prince by asking for private audiences when it's uncalled for. Technically, he wanders around calling up Mr. Silas at one of the numbers he has and waits for the phone to be picked up.
The phone is not picked up, but you'll receive a reply message shortly thereafter of a little beeper saying, I'll be with you soon.
Well, Mr. Peck smiles as he then stops walking. Probably he's being spotted. He hates that fact. And he will kneel behind the car and obfuscate when he can, just to feel more safe.
A few minutes later, a limo is going to pull up and find some parking over there and stop.
Mr. Peck senses his limo is probably for him, and he will use his auspex very swiftly to see what kind of auras are within the limousine. Soon he
There,
notices that there are some unusual extras around the limousine, protecting it from the more supernatural kinds of intervention. And Mr. Peck now for sure knows that this is the limo which he is supposed to enter. And he does, by himself, open the back door and steps in, unknowing what he will meet, but sure that will be a friend somewhere.
on inside, you find your trusted friend, seneschal, fellow primogen, Mr. Silas. With a quick little click with his fingers, as you close the door behind you, the limo will carry on its to yet to be determined journey.
Mr.
Mr. Peck.
Peck feels quite unusual as the car starts to move. He's not used to this kind of luxury. Usually he drives vans and automobiles and does not get driven anywhere. However, seeing as he is in presence of the seneschal, who just greeted him very nicely, Mr. Peck nods and says, "Good evening, sir. Thank you for being so forthcoming in a meeting. It's
No
been a
problem,
while."
Mr. Peck. I was out and about. Good to hear from you, knowing that you're still around and busy.
Well, considering my latest predicament, I am still around, and because of Camarilla Law, I'll be around some more to, I think, because we'll be meeting each other more than before, since I have now been appointed, chosen, slid into the position of primogen of Clan Toreador, just decreed.
On one hand, I should probably say congratulations on your new position. On the other hand, I know what it's like. My condolences.
Yes, I thought I would find a kindred mutually uninterested in positions of power when you can wield power sitting in a chair being called Mr.
I preferred it when I was just the representation, the representative. Left the politics to other people.
Well, I wish I could do the same, But seeing as I have been left with a sore and beaten up clan, I cannot do anything but step up and see if I can mop up this wreckage we have right now and turn it into some sort of swan of beauty.
Hmm. Well, I wish you the best of luck. It hasn't been exactly easy going. A lot of Clan Toreador's wounds in New York have unfortunately been self-inflicted by others of the membership.
I have been aware that we have been fallen victim to a self-proclaimed baron, a Sabat wannabe, and a mad primogen after that.
Oh, yes, what happened to the previous primogen, might I ask?
Yes, that was the
I didn't
mad
really
one.
get I didn't really get much of a chance to say hello.
Well, I'm sure when I decided what we are going to do to her, she'll be around. I don't want to end her. We are at remiss as it is. We don't want to lose any more members if I can avoid it.
Well, I'm quite happy to let
She,
Clan Toreador business be Clan Toreador business.
if only if the prince or yourself decide it should be clan business only, I'm happy to make my first official decree as primogen of Clan Toreador a merciful one.
Well, as long as this is not death, I would like to see what your first one's going to be, so I'd like to let this one lie with you then.
Well, if you speak as the prince, I'll be happy to do it myself. However, her current body is not with me as this all happened in the lodge or one of the lodges of our sheriff, who very conveniently already made sure that the location she went wild was isolated so there was no masquerade breach. However, since I took her body down with, well, my usual effectiveness, I was asked to leave and also leave her body with the current sheriff. Which means the sheriff will probably bring the body either to the prince or to yourself, asking for his new orders. I would request, but I'm not going to request, as I hope I can impeach onto your wisdom instead of making me bleed some more for something I don't really want.
Well, you're a primogen now, and you're being awfully political. Just out with it, man. We're both people with a little bit of sense about us.
I hope it's enough sense, so to speak. No, she can return if it's up to me. She can fulfill the roles I want her to fulfill. Make sure she learns her lesson and then move on to be an effective member of Clan Toreador instead of an anarch runaway or a primogen pro tempore wannabe. You know, all the in betweens and nothing but bullshit.
Well, best of luck to you for dealing with that one, then. I haven't really met the individuals, so I don't really know what to make of them.
Well, if you read the newspapers, I'm sure they're showing her famous portrait when they're making the posters for her
Well,
concerts.
yes, I know who she is. Just not really met her, nor have I been. Many kindred decide that the best way is to hide in plain sight. I've never been a fan of spotlight, but if she's capable of pulling it off, good luck to her. And just hope she realizes that when cracks start forming, she's going to have to come up with a new story.
Yep, that's why you always make sure that you act behind someone. And if you're acting as yourself, then always use an alias or some sort. I
So,
think
since that's not the only thing in your mind,
no, there are many things on my mind. She's on my mind. What's also on my mind is my latest um, procreation. I have been given the right to the property, the housing property owned by the late Mr. Arthur's Rock.
yes, I have a letter from the late Arthur's Rock to do with that as well. It's all been organized and gone through the prints then?
Yes, I met with the prince who, before the sheriff, who also had something to say about it, um, brought me and my letter, my arrangement with Mr. Rock as good enough to grant me the opportunity to make something of the parcel.
Excellent. Well, I'm more than willing to hand over the keys to you.
Perfect. Mr. Peck will wait till the keys are given, and then he looks tired. Mr. Silas can see that he looks a little bit more. He looks different than what he was. Slightly, but different.
Oh, it's a look I know all too well.
Mr. Peck stretches his body a little bit, trying to become flexible in his upper body because he's at a remiss at this moment, trying to make clan plans as well as his own plans. And he asks, "Well, you are a primogen, and you have become a senator rather quickly."
Trust me, that was a surprise to myself.
Hmm. I saw it as an option for control. He gave you something he is afraid of himself.
But, yes, ever since I arrived in the city, seems everything has been moving forward rather quickly. No one's really taken too much time to let the years roll past and let people do what they do.
Well, I heard that the Sabbat is in town, or at
Yeah.
least wannabe anarchs.
Anarchs.
Exactly, that's what I've heard.
Yes, unfortunately, that's rather accurate. I went and actually located where they're hiding for a while. Still keeping an eye on where they are.
I I don't know their exact havens or hiding places, but
Well, the main one last time I checked was on a yacht called the Hammer. But not a bad
where's that
choice.
yacht lying?
It's moored on the ships by Staten Island, I believe. I'd have to pull out the map to be able to get you the exact address, but I can have it sent to you.
Yeah, maybe I'll look around there when I can.
And they've got lots of cameras, so be careful.
I don't care about the cameras. I'll go with my supernatural ability, so to speak.
Fair enough. But yes, they're dangerous individuals. Best to keep an eye on. I don't want them running around willy-nilly and free and all that when possible.
What makes the Sabbat so very different from us?
The willingness to not give a shit. is probably the best way I could sum it up. They honestly don't care. We care
Don't
about a
take
lot of things.
don't
We
they care about
um,
their own survival?
Some of them do, some of them not so much. Some of them will quite happily throw themselves in droves at you because their master beckoned it.
Yeah,
Free will
shovelheads. I've
and
been aware of
freedom.
those.
Free will and freedom is a luxury in this above. They advertise themselves as the sect where you can get away with anything that you want. No, no, they're not. That's just what they advertise. What the truth is they're just as iron shackled, probably even more so than any other sect around. They lie and delude themselves.
We do the
Try and
same
think that
thing in a
they.
way.
Mm, But we're a little bit more down to earth about it. They have the grand delusion of trying to think that they matter. They really, really, really want to matter, and to be perfectly honest, the world doesn't give a shit about them.
Hmm.
They'll come, they'll go, they'll leave ruin and wreckage, and people like me and you will put the pieces back together.
I'm not sure if I'm such a builder, but I've been called a visionary.
Well, it's up to all the cameral in the city to make sure that we don't get another crusade on our hands. No one wants to see that. But fortunately, if they go for a take, at least we might have friends and support where we didn't before.
Yeah, you're talking about the others, right? The Guru and the demons.
Well, they did have a nasty habit of accidentally murdering one of the demons. The demons are kind of peeved off at them.
Oh, Christ. I didn't know that.
Yes, they succeeded. And all they succeeded in doing was pissing off the demon in question.
Yeah, wait, they killed the demon, but they pissed him off anyway? How does that work?
Yeah. Sorry, you can't get rid of demons that easily. They succeeded in killing its mortal component. It went and found
Right.
a new one.
Wow. Wow, that's a handy power.
Hmm. I don't know if all of them can do it, but this one particular can.
Well, that's if he remembers what happened and who did it, I guess that person won't be sleeping very well.
Well, we'll see if we can push the demons. I'm quite willing to let them go and have fun with getting their vengeance.
At the moment, Mr. Pack imagines demons to be something like the Earthbound, because he's never met a demon other than Josh. But Josh was weird.
But yes, as long as we can keep to our arrangement that, well, they leave us alone, we leave them alone. We can keep this arrangement and get them to kill our enemies for us. Sounds like a good arrangement.
Well, I don't wanna get into trouble anywhere.
Hmm.
Especially now I'm a primogen.
Oh,
I never,
yes.
I never thought that would happen. Honestly.
Well, you got people to look after now. Pain, you got to keep track of them, got to make sure they're doing well, got to make sure that they're moving forward. I would recommend that you elect a whip to keep them motivated. Maybe elect a couple of projects.
Well, the current whip is the previous whip. The point is, at the moment, he has nothing to whip at. We need more members, or will be just us two. And it's
Well,
so
I
very
know
hard to
that
wield
feeling.
power with just two of you.
I know that feeling.
Yes,
Unfortunately, that's you got to make the most with what you're given. I would recommend finding something for two of you or any new ones that arrive, something for you to focus on. Go get your hands on a building, expand your restaurant business, get some high flyers flying around and get them underneath your thumb, something that they can sink their teeth in.
Like I said, I have my idea. Currently, there's going to be some jazz club built because Suleiman wants a jazz club down in Queens. It's fine by me. I don't care much for it.
Well, we can always do with more jazz clubs. There are not enough in New York. You know, the dark, smoky kind.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. The one you can easily hide in one of the dark corners and be enveloped in shadows.
What I have been suggesting to many of the kindred I've been having meetings with is take a bit of time to yourself and practice and train, improve yourself. I have a training facility. You're allowed to make use of it and the tools within. Sure that
It's
you're prepared in case things go wrong.
it's very tricky because the things I know are so anti. Well, they're more defensive, so to speak. To train them up would be me sitting in my own room at home,
Well, I
focusing
could.
on what I need to do. That's kind of
Well,
tricky if you don't have or don't want a very important um, a very important training area.
well, I'll see what I can provide for you. I would like us to start getting preparations of a new Elysium going, but I'm going to give it about 5 minutes before we stop one. That's the Sabbat roll in and try to burn it. We need to make a few more preparations on that. You've got a level head
So
and shoulders. Why
technically,
don't
the area that Toreador is going to be at is going to be utterly
oh,
destroyed.
no, no, we don't want the Toreador to be hit again. I've got a few ideas for some other locations. Why don't you have a chat with Mrs. Softly as well, and see if you can find a new location for the Toreadors to be hanging out again as well, one that hasn't had such a reputation.
I'll see what I can do.
Yes, I'm thinking that we let Club Groove simmer for a bit. Places has been had too many troubles attached to it to be willing to be used again. It's too fresh in mortal minds. It's been hammered in there too many times. It
Well,
needs to be left.
I think this will just simply mean that there will be a moment where we will meet again and talk what happened and what didn't.
Well, where would you like to be left off? I have access to wherever you want to go. Nice, relaxing car ride.
Mr.
Have
Peck,
a little
Mr.
think of
Peck
what you
totally
want
for,
for your future.
Mr. Peck totally forgot that it was in a car because it was so relaxing. And he sits up straight and thinks for a moment and says, just drop me off at that corner right there. I'll
You can
walk
do.
the rest of the way.
Yes, Mr. Peck. Think of what you want for your future. Tell me, and we'll see what we can make happen. No reason for us to suddenly stall with these new changes, promotions, and whatnot. Keep moving forward. That's all that we got.
Very well, I'll see what I can do.
I'm expecting good things. Have a good evening, Mr. Peck, and Mr. Silas will let the door open to the side for you to be able to step out quite comfortably.
Well, Mr. Peck will simply leave as soon as the door is open and say, thank you all, Mr. Silas, for your good advice and your helping hand. Thank you for the keys, and we'll talk again soon. If it's not in a meeting, then in just a silly conversation.
Good, good. Good evening to you, Mr. Peck.
Good evening.
With that, Mr. Silas will have the door closed, and the limo will wait like about 10 seconds just in case Mr. Peck's going to say anything, or if he walks off, and then go in a completely new direction.
Mr. Peck will leave. And as soon as he's obfuscated, he's gone.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we shall call this end of scene.